follow with questions.
Well, obviously, I'll start again. Okay, let's start again. All right. You know, we're excited, obviously, to get an opportunity to play for a Conference USA Championship. You know, we got out last night, got a chance to practice and make our corrections and get ready for an outstanding Western Kentucky team. Obviously, last week's game against La Tech, I don't know if I've ever been through anything quite like that, just the way it kind of ended in terms of all the turnovers. But I do think credit is due to our players. I do think our guys were ready, had a great week of practice. Our energy level was tremendous leading up to the game and even pre-game. Our guys knew what was at stake on the road, and I thought our guys really had a great week and had a great mindset as we started off that game, that no one was going to give us anything, that we were going to have to take it. We were aggressive as a staff, and I think that's the way you win, and you win in big games by being aggressive. So again, we're going to have to play our best this week against a really good Western Kentucky team. The stats bear that out. It's not just coach talk. They're up there in statistical categories, both offensively and defensively. You know, they were really good. It started really the back half of last year, and it's just carried over. You know, Jeff has done a great job there, and Coach Holt's done a really good job defensively, how much they've improved from last year till now. You know, they've got good players, they've got good coaches. They wouldn't be where they're at today without the combination of that. And like I said, we'll expect their best, and they can expect ours.
Coach, over the past 6 weeks, the way your team has been able to maintain their focus has been pretty incredible. Can you just talk about how you've managed to keep the team so focused during that time period?
I don't know if it's any one thing. I think it's a credit to our players and our coaches. You know, it just happens sometimes when you've got good players, you've got good coaches, and you gain some confidence week to week. I think that's probably the biggest part of it. But I think our players have also taken to take care of their bodies, hydrating, eating, sleeping, studying film, trying to do it better than they do it. We've had great weeks of practice. When we've had just an okay practice, we've never backed it up with another. I really think that's the biggest thing, is having talent and having mature guys that understand that. And we've continued to have something to play for. And that is the challenge. The challenge is continuing to get your players to play at a high level and to practice and prepare at a high level. That's really probably the most important thing, is how do you get your guys to practice and prepare, because the game's a byproduct of what you do weekly.
Maybe not first time this year, but definitely the most severe case of having X man up situation happened Saturday. Got to be pleased. I mean, especially having a couple days to look back at it with how.
No doubt, you know, losing Kalen early in the game. You know, he's leading our league in pass defense, and then losing Elijah early in the game, and then having Anthony, and we anticipate we'll have all of them back, but to lose them, I'm proud of the way our defense responded. And the way they played the game. And obviously, we held them to -2 yards rushing, and Kenneth Dixon to -4 yards rushing. We harassed the quarterback when they had chances to make plays downfield. At times they didn't connect, which was huge. And then obviously the takeaways. And then we got an onside kick and a takeaway on special teams. So it was a total team effort, and I was really proud of the guys that went in and battled that replaced the guys that got hurt.
You said after the game, you made a mention of going all in. You referenced the onside kick and things like that. I would imagine the same mindset, what you have to lose sort of thing.
Sure. I mean, we're a bowl team already, and the one win, like I told our team last week, that, that game was different, because the difference between 8 wins and 9 wins, realistically, other than your record, but the game itself. No other regular season game, even though it counted as one, meant as much as the one we just played, because what it did was it allowed you to win the West and play one more, play for a championship. So, obviously, there's nothing to hold back. There's nothing to be scared of. I mean, you have to be aggressive. You have to be willing to go for it on 4th downs. You have to be willing to do onside kicks. You have to be willing to think you can get it in from the 1-yard line. I know that's their mindset. I've watched them all year. That's our mindset, is being aggressive and having confidence in your players, and them having the confidence in you to go for it, and they'll back you as a head coach. And then you just got to be able to prepare and be ready when those opportunities come.
You did play well, but did it surprise you how well you played?
Well, they had something to do with that. You know, I mean, you're not going to go into a game and expect 7 turnovers. Now, the last one didn't matter. The last 2 didn't matter because the game was out of hand. The 5 before that mattered because that's when the game was still in the balance. But basically 5 turnovers within, whatever amount of time, 47 minutes, you're not anticipating that. I was not surprised that we would play well. I was not surprised that we would move the ball on them. Was I surprised at the score? Yes, but sometimes games end up that way when teams turn it over and you get an onside kick. And, the areas that mattered we were good at for the most part offensively. We eventually ran the ball well. We converted on 3rd downs. I think we had 16 plays of 15 yards or more. We didn't have a lot of lost yards plays. A couple times Nick got sacked, but they're an aggressive style defense. So really the areas that we had to be successful at to move it offensively, we were. The same on defense. We got after the quarterback. We stopped him from running the football.
Prior to the season, your goals was to be eligible and to make it to a conference championship. How gratifying as a coach just to see your team make those goals happen?
Well, I'm happy for our players, happy for our fans, our university, but bottom line is I don't think you ever put barriers on where you can get to in terms of your goals. You have steps of your goals. Sure, every goal of every team is to be a bowl team. Okay, from there, you might have a rivalry game, beat so-and-so. Okay, the next one is win your division. Okay, win your conference. For us, it's all those things. Then, are you good enough to potentially be talked about to get in the, of the non-power 5 to get in that conversation? And then, can you win them all and then get in the playoff? Those are all the stepping stones. Obviously, it's hard to think about, when you've won the few games that we had. The first thing is let's get to a bowl game. Let's get to where we're considered, and then be able to recruit to that. Be able to recruit to the winning, and because we've got a great place, we just got to prove that we're back and that we can win games here, which we can.
Taking Mississippi State into account, would you say this Western Kentucky team is the toughest team you faced all season?
Nebraska was pretty good. Their record isn't going to show that, but if you look at the team, some of the teams they've played and the tough losses they've had, but without a doubt, they're as good as anybody we played. They're as good as those teams. Obviously going on the road, beating Vanderbilt, and they could have easily beat Indiana on the road. And so it's a really good football team, very well coached. It's not that they just got a bunch of guys running around on either side of the ball now. I mean, you're talking about 2 experienced coaches, and Jeff Brom running their offense, and then Nick Holt, who does a great job. Again, both of them, you're going to have to earn it. They don't give you anything. They're not afraid on offense, and they're not afraid on defense. And we aren't either. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Whether it's the second, third, or fourth quarter, it seems like several weeks in a row you guys have really put teams away and done that in a big way. So can you point to any one moment in time where you realized that your team kind of developed that killer instinct to do that?
I don't know. It's week to week. I think if you just continue to play, if you've got talented guys and you're sound in what you do and you keep playing hard, good things will happen. At least you hope that's what's going to happen. But you don't count on those things to happen. They just have happened for us. And we've got enough playmakers, and we knew coming in the year, at least offensively, if we could run the football and keep Nick upright, we could move the football, which we have. Some of the things that we set to do out at the beginning of the year, we've done. Now, whether or not we thought that would lead to 9, 10, 11, wherever we're at, I don't know that. I just knew that that's a byproduct of the decisions we made offensively of what we needed to do to move forward. And then defensively, we added a lot of depth where we didn't have any depth previously. So that's added to it, and some guys that have made a difference from a talent standpoint. So, and that's just, we've been good enough on 9 weekends to win games. Now what that means this weekend, I don't know. You can't carry over points, can't carry over statistics. I say it every week. It's what kind of week do we have? How do we prepare? Because there's still a bunch of plays that were out there for us to make at Slot Tech and for them to make. It'll be the same way Saturday. We're both good enough to win this game. Neither team's the game's gonna end and go, wow, we couldn't have won that game. No, you're gonna look back and say it was these certain plays that we made and they didn't that dictated the outcome of the game.
Coach, as you look ahead to this Western Kentucky team, and I'm sure you've had a chance to start watching video and film on them, what are some of the things that they do extremely well, both offense and defensively?
Well, first off, let's start offensively. They've got experienced players at all the positions. You know, again, I would have guessed losing their tailback, that would have hurt them, but the two backs that they've had running, Wales and Furby, have done a great job. O-line's really physical, obviously experienced quarterback, the receivers they have, they stress you everywhere on the field. There's not a position they have that cannot beat you and create explosive plays. Plus, they're not afraid to do anything, and let it sound. It's edges, it's checking plays, it's getting you in formations where they can run the football and get number advantages, where they can get matchups on the perimeter and throw screens. So they really challenge you, your defense. And then defensively, you know, they've come a long way in terms of, you know, they'll jump in and out of 3 and 4 down, they'll play in man, they do a number of things, but, you know, they're going to challenge you, and they don't just turn somebody loose. It's not like you look on film and say, no, they've done a really good job, their guys play hard, and it's going to be a real challenge. I mean, every team, I told the team last week, you know, you get to this point, every team you play is going to be good. I mean, if you're playing for the championship, you're going to play the best teams in your league, and then we're going to go to a bowl game, and it's going to be a really good football team there. So, you know, at this point, the margin for error is going to be small. You know, some of the mistakes that we made earlier in the year, you're not going to be able to get away with against a really good football team.
You talked about the preparation leading up to this game, and especially on the championship week, whether it's high school, college, or the NFL. I mean, how important or how much of the battle is having the morale stay high throughout the week?
Oh, it's everything. It's your week's preparation that leads up to what your play is. I mean, it's rarely the case that what you see in practice isn't what you see on Saturday. It's exactly what you see. And your execution and your energy level and how you take care of your body and how you prepare your body and your mind to play a game against a really good opponent. And don't look back. And let's look forward. And let's embrace this. This is our Super Bowl. This is everything for us, the conference championship. And so, you know, our team's preparation will be critical to how we play on Saturday.
You talked about trying to prove that the program is back. From everybody I've talked to the last couple of days, they believe that now. Have you got that sense from the fans after the game? In contact with anybody yesterday?
You know, I don't know what back means. I don't ever use that, you know, that term. I just know that you've got to recruit, you've got to develop, you've got to coach better. So it starts with recruiting, and then it starts with us developing them and doing it better, and then doing it better X's and O's wise, and coming up with a great plan that your players can execute. So just like I didn't believe when we lost a little bit that we did still have a great program and it was just a matter of time, just like, you know, hey, we're 9-3 right now. That's where we're playing for a conference championship. And you can't carry that over to the next year. All I know is we've got a really good team this year. If that's back in some people's minds, great, you're back. I don't know. You know, we'll finish out this year, and then we'll get back to work and get ready for 2016 and put the best product we can on the field then. But are we excited about how far we've come? Of course. You know, but in terms of what that means for the future, I don't have any idea. I know what it means for right now. And that means we have a chance to win a conference championship, which doesn't come around every year. You don't always have those opportunities. Let's take advantage of it.
All year you said you wouldn't celebrate until it's done, but getting the Gatorade dumped on you and all the guys being excited, I mean, what happened after the game? Were y'all celebrating a lot? Or?
Yeah, you know, sometimes, you know, I think it's a player's game. I think it's their celebration. I think a lot of times is, I think Frank Martin at Kansas State said it, you know, best, you know, is winning is relief and losing is misery. And at times that is what it is till the season's over. I really don't enjoy, I mean, I love game day and the competition and the week leading up to it, but, you know, there's always next week. To me, it's never easy to enjoy it because there's next week. There's always the next week. The one that was easy to enjoy was UAB 2 years ago. We were done. I mean, we were done. Okay, that was awesome, the bus ride back. But, you know, when you still have another week, then you're on to the next one. You're thinking about the next one. You're thinking about the things that you could have done better, even the games you won. So, but I'm happy for our players. I'm happy for how far we've come. You know, like I always say, this is a great place. We have no barriers to success. So that part of it, I'm happy because there's nothing like singing the fight song in the locker room with your team and smiles on their face and the excitement they have from all the work they put in and the coaches as well and the sacrifices they all make.
You mentioned the UAB game. That was 2 years ago today. Is that kind of ironic to you?
No, not that it's today, but it's, I was thinking about that. I will say, riding back from La Tech, that, just the bus ride, 2 years apart, that, no, I can't think of very many other more enjoyable bus rides back than those two. And, just reflecting, back from a couple of years ago, and then obviously this year winning the West. And so, like I said, being on the bus, both of them, it's the same, whether you're on the plane or in the locker room, was the sound of laughter, the sound of excitement from the players, having fun. And because it's their time. This is their 4 to 5 years, their time to enjoy and their memories.
You mentioned Zach Woodman and what he's meant to this, or you've alluded to what he's meant to this program this year. Could you elaborate on that? I mean, now that we're at the end of the year, and just what his addition, especially after what he did, helped UAB do a year ago. I mean, there's no coincidence there, probably.
No. You start with having enough talent. Let's start with that, which we had, increased that significantly. And I told the team yesterday, I said, I thank the seniors at our senior send-off, and I said to our team, I wanted to thank them when we met in December, and we put it all out there, and basically gave me the blueprint for what we needed to do. We, and what they needed to do and what we needed to do. What I needed to do, what we needed to do in that area to maximize our players' measurable skill set. And that's all you're trying to do. How do we create the best version of our players we can? And that's my job, is to figure out the puzzle, starting with me and then with our coaches. So we made some changes. Obviously, hiring Zach Woodfin was a tremendous hire. Not only is he a great person and positive with our players, in terms of, nutrition, in terms of, getting our players back, in terms of just the constant reminders our players needed, creating football players' athleticism, it's just, I can't speak enough of them, not only all the coaches in the weight room, and starting with Zach, and then the changes that we made in all areas, in the X's and O's and the development of our players, and then obviously in the recruiting part, it all fit together, and it gave us where we're at today. It's all a big piece of it, and Zach was a big part of that.
Whether it's the thermostat or yesterday or 2 days ago, Nick Mullins mentioned something about a python never leashing its grip. I mean, is there an analogy for this week you guys are using?
You're bringing up all the old ones. You're bringing up all the different things. The way the thermostat was about the crowd. Now, I can't believe you're bringing the crowd back up from the Austin Peay game. But, our coaches come up and they speak to the team every week. And, you try to play off of that, use the strength of the staff to visit, with our team. Because it's good to get the different messages. They hear me all the time. So, I just think our team is confident, but they're not over the top to where they don't work hard. I think that's the biggest thing. Our team continued to work, has done a great job of, on Sunday, you win a game, of dissecting the things you didn't do well, because even within wins, sometimes you're just better. Sometimes you're more talented. Well, I don't want to leave it up to talent. I don't want to leave it up that we're better. I want to do it better than they do it. I don't want it to look sloppy. I don't want it to look like our team doesn't play hard. I don't want it to look like our team isn't well coached and prepared. So that's the real challenge is for your guys, is to, the confidence comes through your preparation. And so whatever the message becomes of that week, it's still, and every week's a little bit different, it's still about the preparation, your individual confidence, which then leads to your team's confidence, and then you got to go out there and play and not let any single moment overwhelm you and flinch. 4th down call, you're behind in the game, you're up in the game, it doesn't matter, it's the moment, it's 6 seconds, it's a series, it's a quarter, it's a game.
From day one, you said you always wanted to take the job here because of the tradition and the rich history, so now that you guys are in the week, you're finally here playing for a conference championship. What's that like for you and this team?
I always said I would take a head coaching job wherever I was at, we could win the league. And that was the standard. I didn't care what level it was at. I was going to take a job because as hard as it is to move on when you lose, and it is hard to put everything into it, I want our best year to be good enough to where we win our league and we can be considered to be part of the non-Power 5 team that can represent. So that's where I wanted to be. That's why I wanted to be here. And so that hasn't changed. We have no barriers to success. So that as much as anything is what drives me, is that is the winning part of it, because it's too hard. It's too hard to be in a place where you don't give yourself a chance to win every week. And we finally got to that point. I'm not saying we're back, okay, but I am saying that we're better. And that's where you want to be, at a point that every week you have a chance to win. That's where you want to be. It's hard to go in a game and say we got to play perfect. I don't want to be in a place where I have to play perfect. I want to be in a place I can get good players, and we have good enough players that if we do it well, we can win every week.
After the La Tech game, a couple players said if you guys were to win this game, they might see you dancing in the locker room. Is that true?
I jumped. I don't know if I danced. There comes a point where you're just kind of, I was excited for them. I don't really dance. I don't think it's ever about me dancing. I really don't think that's all that cool that I dance with them, that they think that, because I dance with them. Mike Gundy's awesome at it. I'm not as good a dancer. If I was as good a dancer as Mike Gundy, I would dance. I'm not as good as Mike. Mike started it. Mike was the original. I don't know how he gets that low anyways. I have no idea how he gets that low to the ground. He's very, very flexible, very nimble. I'm not. I'm very stiff, and I can't do the things that some of those guys do, and I'll look foolish. And the team knows how I feel about them. And they know, the work we put in together and the celebration is for them. And, so maybe as we get better, I'll take dance classes. I don't know.
They haven't tried to get you to dab yet or anything?
They've tried to get me to. Every now and then I'll do that. I don't get it. I don't get why that's so. I don't even get why that's so cool. I mean, your arm up, your hand up, I don't get it. I don't why that's so cool. I'll never get it.
Anything else? Spring in your step, though, did it make you feel a little?
I don't have any spring in my step. So if that's what you thought you saw, a spring in my step, that was definitely not a spring in my step. Like I said, I was excited for our players. That's what you do it for. You put all the work in for, because again, it's the puzzle of figuring it out. I don't take that lightly. I never have, and any responsibility someone gave me, being a position coach or coordinator, that I try to never lose sight of what the job I have and the responsibility that I have for everybody that's involved. So, in that part of it, I was excited for them, and I was relieved because I thought we were good enough. And there's no ribbon for getting close, and we're still at that point right now. There's no ribbon for second place. I mean, maybe they will give us a ribbon, but I don't know. I don't know what they'll give us, but it won't feel the same as if you win it.
Anything else?